Luke, I am your father. What's up, guys, and welcome to the final part of the Q&A special 450,000 subscriber special. I've joined the Survey Corps. It's pretty cool. It's a kind of a rough job. A couple of my friends got their heads bitten off, but welcome. This is gonna be the random and life questions, which is, I guess, 2 categories, but I'm just gonna combine them into one super long video. I don't know exactly how long it'll be, but yeah, it's basically 2 categories from my pages. There are basically 4 pages full of questions, and each page was basically a section. So this one will be 2 combined. It's gonna be questions about life and, I guess, real life stuff, and the other one is just random funny questions that I thought I should answer. I wanted to make this one, the final part, be kind of a lot more light, I guess. It's just gonna be random questions, so I think it's gonna be the best one, or at least the funniest one. So if you've enjoyed this so far, be sure to leave a like, and I guess we'll get right into it. So first off, with the life questions, this is without a doubt the absolute most asked question of all of them. I would say if there were 4,000, at least 1,000 of them were asking this, and it is how tall I am. Well, honestly, I don't exactly know, but last time I measured myself, I was about 5'4". So I'd say if I grown, or I'm pretty sure I've grown at least an inch, so I'll say I'm 5'5" right now. And yeah, really it's more of a question of how short are you and not how tall are you, because that is pretty short. I have met shorter people than me, but it's very rare. It's a kind of a rare equation, and at least from all of my friends, I'm pretty sure I would be the shortest one anytime. So that was, for some reason, the absolute most asked question. So there you go. Now you all know that I'm short. You can probably carry me around. Actually, no, because I'm kind of fat, so you probably can't carry me around, but you know, if I were to lose a few pounds, you could probably carry me around. I think when I was in high school, I was maybe like 140 or something like that. So I'm pretty short. Along with that one, though, these were other questions that were asked by a lot of people, which is my real name and my age. So for my age, I'm 19 right now, but I'm turning 20 in December. So yeah, I'm a very late birthday person. I graduated high school in 2012, but I was actually 17 when I graduated, because my birthday's all the way December 21st, almost at the end of the year. So I actually started kindergarten when I was like 4 years old. So yeah, I always thought to myself that I was going through school, I was always younger than all the other kids, but it's because of that. My birthday's really late, so yeah, I'm 19 right now, turning 20 in December, and I'm pretty excited to get into that 2-0, I guess, not the double digits, because we've been in double digits since I was 10, but as far as my real name goes, it is Ariel Rivera, which if you saw my Draw My Life, it's Ariel actually spelled with an E. Well, it has 2 E's in it, so it's E-R-I-E-L, or if you are Spanish or Japanese or something like that. Well, I guess not Japanese because they don't have L's, so, I mean, if it was Japanese, it would be Ariel or something like that. But yeah, it's Ariel or Ariel, that's my real name, but yeah, it's spelled with an E. Well, if you saw, you can see my Draw My Life, and I explain what my name is there. But yeah, those were the 3 most asked questions of all of them, and now I'm going to go through speed round since we have a lot to answer in this part. First off, from Halioop. That's a pretty cool name. I don't know if that's how you intended it to be said, but he asked what my ethnicity is, or he or she, I'm really not sure. But I'm actually Hispanic. I'm from Puerto Rico. Hispanic or Latino, I don't know what to call it. I know that whenever you have those little forms, sometimes they have Hispanic, but if they don't, you pretty much have to put Caucasian, I think would be the one. I don't know, honestly. I'm Hispanic or Latino or Puerto Rican, whichever one you prefer to say. A lot of people thought I was either white or Asian whenever they first saw me because of my eyes or because of my color, because I'm pretty dang pale. At least back when I lived in Puerto Rico, I was a lot tanner, but now I kind of just spend my time indoors all the time, so I've gotten pretty pale, but yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. You know, I lied earlier, actually. I said that the most asked question was how tall I was, but this is probably a million times above that. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was pretty close, though. They were kind of tied as far as which one was the most asked question. And no matter how it was phrased, it is basically if I have a grill friend or if I've ever had one. And actually, at the moment, I don't, but I've had, I would say 2 before. One in high school and one after, which was kind of long distance. So I don't know, I have had some before, but at the moment I don't. And a lot of people wanted to know that. So now you know, no grills. For now, I'll only be grilling meat. From Mark Robles and a bunch of other people, what is my favorite fruit? And this one, I'm putting it at the top once again because Of course, my YouTube channel is Munching Orange, which might lead you to think that my favorite color and my favorite fruit are oranges for both of those, but actually, for color, I would say orange has become my favorite, just because of the name. I used to always like the color orange, but ever since the YouTube username MunchingOrange, I've started using orange in a lot of other stuff, and it has become my favorite color. But as far as fruits go, my favorite, I would probably have to say, is strawberries. It's kind of close, actually, between strawberries and bananas. I always make those kinds of shakes, like either strawberry or banana, or both. It is an explosion of flavor, strawberry banana shakes, but I'd say if they were to compete head to head, strawberry would probably win out because there's a lot more foods with strawberries in them, or I guess desserts and stuff like that, than with bananas that I enjoy. So strawberry is actually my favorite fruit, and orange isn't really close to the top, I don't think. I don't know, I like citrus fruits, but not nearly as much as sweeter fruits. So orange, not my favorite fruit, but it is my favorite color. From Marty is awesome 534, we have, or 354, how did you do in school? And there's a time question from Duct Tape Wallet. Was I popular, at least among my group of friends in school? So I was just talking about high school and how I graduated when I was 17, and I wouldn't really say I was popular. My school was very different, I would say, from what, I guess the American high school, what's the word I'm looking for? The generalization, I guess, that there's all these little cliques of popular kids and like the loner kids and like the rock kids and the gangster kids. I don't know. But in my high school, I guess that kind of existed, but a lot of people really just kind of came together, at least in Puerto Rico, at least in my school. I'm not sure if in other schools, but in my school, everyone was really united by art because it was an art school. We had you chose basically not really a major because it was high school, but you chose one focus, and I was in animation. And because all of us in that school really enjoyed art, we at least had something in common no matter which little clique you were in. So yeah, among overall, there were some popular kids. I wasn't really in that group, but people did know me because I started making videos, and not just like the Pokemon videos, but I started making videos for my school. I guess I was popular for that. People would know me, like if they ever had anything to talk about or ask about video making or filmmaking or YouTube, they would always come to me. So I guess in that regard I was pretty popular. Plus I was in animation as my kind of sub-art chosen major thing. So yeah, people would come to me a lot whenever they needed help with a video or something like that. So in that regard, a lot of people in my school knew me. But as far as how I did, throughout the last few years, like I said, I started getting a lot more into YouTube and started getting paid for it. So I really started to shift my focus a lot towards that and got really lazy with it. But overall, I didn't get into honor roll or anything like that, but I definitely had all B's and A's. I didn't have anything below a B ever, I don't think. Dylan Peters asks if I play any instruments, and if so, could I demonstrate? So earlier I was saying I was a lot more of a visual arts kind of person, not really ever good at instruments. A lot of my friends, actually when I was in middle school, I was in band and I really sucked. But lately I've become kind of an ocarina master. So I can try and play a song if I can remember any. There may have been some editing involved there. Not gonna lie, I'm not very good, but I'm trying, alright? Jeremy Baker asks, what is the farthest away that I have been from the US or Puerto Rico? And I've actually never been outside of those two countries. Even though Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States, it's, I guess, kind of a different country. You don't need a passport to go in between Puerto Rico and the US. So if you actually live in the US, I would recommend, if you ever want to go for vacation, go to Puerto Rico. You don't need a passport. It's basically like Hawaii, but cheaper. I think it's a really good place, and I've actually, to answer the question, never been outside of either of those two, mainly because I've never had a passport. But I do want to go though. My dream one day, which is a lot of people's dream actually, is to travel across and see a lot of different lands. First off, I guess I would start with Europe, just because it's a place that's very English friendly, though I guess a lot of people or places are because of tourism. But yeah, I would definitely start with Europe because I know Spanish and English, and I feel like those two would be pretty helpful, at least around Spain and stuff. And one day I also want to go visit Asia, like at least Korea, maybe Japan, or definitely Japan, and maybe China. I don't know about China though, that place seems kind of weird. No offense if you're from China though. If you're from China, then that country's the best. The bomb diggity. China, go China! Max Bloom asks, what else do you do when you're not playing video games? And really, there's not a lot. I play video games most of the time, but when I'm not, I mean, I don't really go outside a lot, but I watch movies, Netflix sometimes. I haven't been watching a lot of Netflix lately though, but really aside from playing games, is just sitting at the computer browsing the internet. There's not a lot that I do lately, but back when I lived in Puerto Rico, I had a lot more friends, I guess, locally, and we just kind of went out in the weekends and stuff like that. And I guess now we do go out to the movies and like stuff like that, but I mean, just most of the time I'm just in here in my zone, and don't let me into my zone, because if you let me in my zone, that's my zone. The Dre270 asked if I keep in touch with my siblings, and to, I guess, correct that first off is that I only have one sibling, which is my younger sister. I think she's like 16 or something now, and she lives in Puerto Rico with my mom still, and I do keep in touch with both of them. I don't really talk to my sister all that much, but we do text a lot, and sometimes she sends me really stupid Snapchats, to which of course I reply with even stupider Snapchats, so it's kind of just a back and forth thing, but I would say we keep on pretty good terms, and I don't know exactly what she's gonna do in like 2 more years when she's going to school, but I'm assuming that she would come over here somewhere to the US, and then I would assume I would keep in touch a lot more with her. But when I do go visit in Puerto Rico and stuff, I guess we always kind of get along. Back when we were younger and we actually lived together, I would bother her a lot and she would bother me back a lot. It would kind of be a back and forth thing. I wouldn't really say it was either of our faults really, but it's just kind of sibling rivalry, I could call it. But now that we live apart, really, it's a lot different. When I go visit, it's not as much, and yeah, we kind of, at least we're in good terms, I would say. Ota's House asks if I have a pet, or any pets for that matter, and I actually do not, but back a little bit ago, like a month ago or something, actually not that long ago, but my friend Chris has a dog, and he was going to go get a cat over in Denver, Colorado, maybe like, I don't know how long away from here, but he left his little doggy in the care of me, and that's when all of those pictures of that, what is it? What's the breed of the dog? I already forgot. The Corgi, Chewy is his name. He left it in the care of me overnight, so yeah, that's where all those pictures of that dog came from, but I myself don't have any pets. He's kind of like my little adopted nephew pet, I guess. Sebastian Linan or Linen asks a curious question. I don't know why I used the word curious, but it is, how often do you curse? And actually, outside of videos, which I tend to not curse at all, aside from sometimes when I'm with Yoshida Mario, because he is a bad influence, but it's outside of videos, I actually tend to curse way more than I do in videos, just because I like to keep them PG, but outside of that, I definitely do use whatever words you can think of out there, just because on the videos, you know, gotta keep it PG, as well as just, there's some people that are against it. Obviously some people don't care, but for those of you, or for those people that are against it, I'd rather just not use them. But yeah, outside of videos, I definitely do use any curse that you can think of. I probably used at least once. So moving on to more random questions now. Those are kind of all of the life ones. So first off from Dylan Smock is probably the most important question. Hold on, we gotta stop this for a second. This is the most important question ever in this Q&A, absolutely mind blown. Team Edward or Team Jacob? Now, I've actually never seen Twilight. Jacobino181 asks what my favorite gaming console is, and this one's gonna be kind of a cop-out, but it is definitely the PC. I don't know if people consider that a console, so I guess if not to cop out with the PC, that is my favorite thing to play games on though, just because I just hook up a controller to it and literally almost any game I can think of I can play on one single thing. But if I had to choose an actual console, I guess if you don't consider that a console, I would say right now my favorite is probably the PS3, just because it has the most extensive library of games that I actually play right now. I play Demon's Souls on it, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, games that I've been playing recently, Spyro and all of the other PS3 games, as well as the Ratchet & Clank collection and all that. Games that I mostly enjoy playing whenever I can. I play them on the PS3 if it's not on PC. I would say the Wii U because I am a Nintendo fan, but right now the Wii U at least doesn't have the most games. Like, it has pretty cool ones. Wind Waker is pretty cool, I play that sometimes, and Mario 3D World. But other than that, there's not really a lot of games that I play on it. So I would say PS3 is my favorite console if I can't choose my PC, because that would be my favorite if I can choose it, but I don't know. GOZ asks what my favorite anime is, and this is something that a lot of people are probably going to debate over, so I'm just going to say I love a lot of different anime, but my all-time favorite would probably have to be Gurren Lagann. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should. Kill la Kill is also pretty good, which is by the same creators, but I really do like a lot of different anime. I've seen a lot of them. I know a little bit ago I tweeted a picture of Asuna from Sword Art Online, and a lot of people were like, Sword Art Online, kill yourself! Really, I don't get why there are these arguments between fans of different anime. I like all of them. I like Attack on Titan, I like Fairy Tail, I like Sword Art Online. What else is a new anime? I don't know. I like all of these new ones that are coming out. I do agree though, Sword Art Online Season 2. What happened there? I just don't really get why so many people argue over which one is better. I personally like all of them, and I won't say which one I think is better just because, you know, that will just put more arguments in the comments, but I would say none of those are even my favorite. My favorite of all time, like I said, Gurren Lagann, really solid story. I really like the animation and the idea of it. Giant robots, I'm a sucker for giant robots. You can see freaking Gypsy Danger back there, a bunch of Gundams. So yeah, I've always been a fan of giant robots, and Gurren Lagann has giant robots. Actually, Gurren himself is right here. There he is. This is my favorite anime. I know it's blurry, but that's him. A tie-in question to that though, which I thought was really cool, Kyle's Best Videos asks, what anime would I want to be in? Like, if I were to go into an anime world, which one would it be in? This is very different from my favorite anime, because I feel like if you were in the world of Gurren Lagann and you were just a human, you'd probably end up being like ground up in the like underground, like the moles at the very first episode, or well, I guess how like Kamina and Simon live in the very first episode. You'd probably be like that, and that doesn't really sound like the most fun. Unless you were one of those and you got to actually pilot one of the Gurrens, then it would be kind of cool. But that's actually not the world that I would choose to live in. If I could choose an anime world to live in, even though it kind of seems dumb, I would probably choose something like Naruto, because in that world, literally anyone can become a badass, powerful ninja with weird spells and stuff. So I was thinking something like Dragon Ball Z, but what if you end up being like just a regular human and not a Saiyan? I would say something like Dragon Ball Z if I could be a Saiyan. Same thing for like Full Metal Alchemist. If I could be an alchemist or like the Full Metal, that would be awesome. But really, I'm just gonna go safe with Naruto, because it just seems like in that show, if you just train, you can become a weird, crazy ninja with all these things. Or maybe One Piece and just eat a devil fruit, then you have powers too. I don't know, there's a lot of anime I could be in, but I was gonna say Naruto, even though I haven't watched any of the latest Shippuden, I guess. I've only seen like the first season of that one, but I know a little bit about the show, and I know that almost anyone in that show can be a crazy ninja with powers and transformation jutsus and there. See, I just did something crazy. If I was in Naruto, that would have turned me into like a dragon, so that's why I would choose to be in that one. Yanira Cantu, if I said that right, I'm really sorry, asks if I like corn. And this is actually a question that I put in here, even though it seems kind of random, because if you guys don't know, now I live in Nebraska, and this is a state that's kind of known for having a lot of corn. And I actually do like corn on the cob. It's kind of the only corn I really like, but I have yet to go in a cornfield. That's like the most known thing here. I would say it's like an attraction, but that kind of makes it sound like this state has nothing other than cornfields. But I've yet to go through one. I still want to do that just because I heard like it's a cool experience, even though you should cover your eyes because blades of corn will just slice your face open. But yeah, I still want to try it out. I don't know. I like corn on the cob, if that answers the question. Tasha Super asks if I'm a ninja. And Kiran Mayi Naluri, man, that's a hard name to say, but asks if I am magical. So am I a ninja and am I magical? I'm going to answer your question, or both of your questions, with one answer. So I guess I'm not a ninja or magical, but I can cut videos. Chimney Leaf asks for a kiss, and if anyone else asked for this, I don't know, I didn't really see anymore, but here you go, Chimney Leaf. Jason Wu and a couple of other people asked me what my favorite food is. He specifically said if I like eating candy. I do like eating candy. There's a lot of candy that I enjoy, but obviously not my favorite food. If I would have to pick my favorite food, it's kind of I guess a story kind of thing, but every time something important happens, or I think on my very first date ever with, like I said, my first girlfriend back in high school, not really my first date ever, but on the first date that I went out to dinner, I had fettuccine alfredo shrimp. And that has become my favorite food, not from that moment, but from before. That kind of just like immortalized it as my favorite food because it was a really, really good date and also a really, really great food. So that's become my favorite food whenever I do something or accomplish something special. I like to go out and eat some fettuccine alfredo shrimp. I just really overall like shrimp, and I really like pasta, and I guess I really like alfredo sauce. Those three put together, boom, my favorite food. If you're a grill out there and you can cook that, here's my number. Psych, that's the wrong number! Pakasaurus asked what my favorite movie and movies are. So I was saying earlier that aside from playing video games, all I really do is watch shows and movies, and I would say I have a lot more favorite shows than I do favorite movies, but just to name my favorite movie, I mean, I like a lot of movies. I am a big sucker for superhero movies and like fantasy movies, so lately The Hobbit and The Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, those I would say are like my latest favorite movies, but overall, if I had to say like my favorite thing, I would probably name a TV show because Arrested Development is freaking amazing, and I don't know why anytime, at like any point in my life, I can go back and watch that series and I'll really, really enjoy it. It's just, I don't know, I guess it's my kind of humor. It really appeals to me, and at any point I can turn on a random episode and still laugh even though I know what jokes are coming up. That's the show that I really like the most. Aside from that though, The Office and Parks and Rec, I really like those two shows. Arrested Development, definitely my favorite TV show. I don't really know about movies, so I'm sorry I can't really answer that, but at least you know something favorite of mine that's show video related, I guess. Ace Ashita though asks what my favorite song and favorite artists are, and this is really, really tough for me. I think a couple of other people also asked that, but this is really tough because I'm not really big on music. Most of the music that I listen to is instrumental, whether it be like game music or like electronic music. So really, if I had to say my favorite song, I couldn't even tell you because I don't listen to a lot of music really. I haven't listened to a lot of music growing up or anything like that. So yeah, it's tough for me to answer that question. But as far as what I like recently, like I said, electronic music is kind of like my favorite types, and rap, I guess, is pretty cool, or hip-hop, I don't know which one you would even call it. See, that's how bad I am with it, but I guess stuff like Gambino or Kendrick Lamar and stuff like that is kind of what I listen to. When I'm not listening to electronic, I'll listen to that. Yeah. The Lone Gamer asks who my celebrity crush is, and this was, I guess it's kind of a gossipy, kind of weird, random question, but if I had to say my celebrity crush for the longest time has been Mila Kunis, and I don't know if she's been in anything that recent, but I don't know, ever since I saw her in like that 70s show and then in all of these crazy movies, I've always really liked her, so I would say that's my celebrity crush. Selena Gomez, I watched Wizards of Waverly Place with my sister, and that's the first place I saw her in, but now she does all these crazy music videos and she's all seductive like, so I would say probably Mila Kunis, runner-up Selena Gomez. Those are my celebrity crushes. And I've been talking about superhero movies a lot and anime and stuff like that, so Ada Illusion asks, are you a Marvel or DC fan? And obviously I've been talking mostly about Marvel. I just really don't get into the DC universe that much. I don't think their superheroes are as iconic, I guess, at least in my opinion, especially with the movies coming and rising nowadays. Marvel has done a way, way better job with their movies than DC has. I really did not like that Superman movie at all. Batman, obviously the movies are really, really good, but that doesn't make me like DC more than Marvel. I still love Spider-Man, I love Iron Man. I don't really like Thor or Captain America that much, but I mean, I'm just going off of Avengers right now. If I had to say my favorite superhero though of all, probably either Spider-Man or Iron Man. I'm leaning more towards Iron Man because I'm a big fan of superheroes that are just regular humans that kind of become super. So Iron Man obviously is just a genius. He created his suit and that makes him super. Same thing with Star-Lord or Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy. I really, really liked his superhero character, not just because it's played by Chris Pratt and I really love Parks and Rec like I said earlier, but because he's also just a regular human. He was kidnapped by aliens and kind of just technology makes him a superhero. Other than that though, he doesn't have like any abilities or powers. He's just a regular human with really cool technology, I guess, and just a good mind. So really, Iron Man probably my favorite superhero. And I said there was gonna be a what if, but it's actually a would you rather. There aren't actually any what if questions in here. I don't know why I said that earlier, but I picked the most interesting would you rather in my opinion, and it comes from Gelated Olive, and it is, would you rather have the power to turn invisible but only for 10 seconds at a time, or have the power to fly but only 2 feet off the ground? And I have always been one to want to fly, so I think I would pick the power to fly because there's no limit on how long you can fly for. It only says you can fly 2 feet off the ground, but I think that would still be really, really awesome because think about it. You can go invisible, but only for 10 seconds. So you're very limited to what you can do in those 10 seconds as to being invisible. And what do people do usually when they go invisible in movies is they either go and sneak peek on some girls or they steal stuff. And I'm not really up for either of those, so I think flying, even if it's just 2 feet off the ground, would definitely be my thing because I always dream of flying, I guess, and if I had a superpower, one of them would be flying. So even if it's 2 feet off the ground, seems kind of lame, but hey, you could literally just stay off the ground at all times, so you wouldn't even need to wear shoes. Think about that. No shoes. Think of how much money you would save. You don't need Air Jordans. You can just fly and wear socks. You can just be in your socks all day. That would be amazing. Socks are great. From Noda Chansey, if you could time travel, which year would you choose? And all of these are kind of weird. I guess this is kind of a what if you could time travel. So what year I would choose? There are a lot of years in history, like in the past, that I would want to visit. Like I've always been a fan of medieval times and I want to see what it was actually like because we see medieval times portrayed in movies and books a lot. But we don't really know exactly what it would be like. So I would want to go back and see what medieval times were like. But I mean, if it's anything like the movies, I'm not very strong and I probably wouldn't know how to use a sword. So I'd probably get a sword stuck in my belly after like a couple of days. So I don't know too much about going back to medieval times. I've also thought about like feudal Japan. That would be a pretty cool time to visit, like when samurais were around and actual ninjas. Like I said, I would probably die very soon in those worlds because I'm not very skilled at surviving in those worlds, I would think. So I would want to go somewhere in the future because you really don't know what awaits us in the future. And a lot of people expect flying cars, futuristic cities and all that. But I really would want to go 2,000 years into the future. Hopefully if the Earth is still around and I won't just be floating around in a vacuum of space if we actually time travel that far. But yeah, I would go into the future definitely, maybe like 1,000 or 2,000 years, just to see what humanity is like. So the final question for the final part of the Q&A special is, why did I decide to move in with YouTube friends? If you guys don't know, I used to live with Rodri, and now I live with Luke, or Zelda Master, so I've decided we should just ask Luke. So Luke, why are we roommates?
'Cause we're Ocarina buddies!
Oh my god! Ocarina! Subscribe for more Ocarina Legit Pro Master Guides.